But it was it's so much fun. Because I just think making music, I mean, film, you still get to see something. Yeah. I think music is so amazing. I mean, you just
don't need to see anything.
It's in the air, and suddenly it just comes together, and it's just, you can just feel it. And something you hear makes you feel something. It's just magical.
Is your business future ready? Join the 13-week strategic ESG certification program for business sustainability and growth for CXO and business leaders by NDTV, Terry and Zenora. Master global ESG frameworks, gain real-world tools and lead with impact. Starts August the 23rd. Enroll now and power your business with sustainability. NDTV 24/7 is India's #1 English news channel on YouTube. Credible, compelling, always ahead of the curve. Thank you for choosing NDTV 24/7 as your trust.
You are watching The World 24/7 on the NDTV network. I am Parmeshwar Bava. An action-packed bulletin lined up for you. Let's begin with the top stories you need to know. India and China have reached a new understanding on the management and control of the frontier during Foreign Minister Wang Yi's visit to New Delhi. This is what the Chinese Foreign Ministry has said. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar delivered a strong message to Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in Moscow. Dr. Jaishankar and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov are to hold a meeting in Moscow later today. This as Russia expects to continue supplying oil to India despite warnings from the United States. Russian embassy officials in New Delhi have said, adding that Moscow hopes trilateral talks will soon take place with India and China. India has dismissed allegations by Bangladesh that Awami League-linked offices in Kolkata and New Delhi were involved in anti-Bangladesh activities. The Ministry of External Affairs called Dhaka's charge misplaced, stressing that no such activities permitted from Indian soil. The Israeli military says it has begun the preliminary actions of a planned ground offensive to capture and occupy all of Gaza City and already has a hold on its outskirts. India has successfully test-fired its Agni-5 intermediate-range ballistic missile off the Odisha coast, marking a major advancement in the nation's strategic defense capabilities. Our big focus, India and China have agreed to explore demarcating their disputed border, a key move towards resolving decades-old territorial disputes as the neighbors look to recalibrate ties against the backdrop of strained India-US relations. Our two sides will set up an expert group to examine an interim arrangement for marking out border areas. This is what the Ministry of External Affairs has said in its statement. This decision came as Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi wrapped up a two-day visit in India, which was his first in 3 years. Meanwhile, a statement from the Chinese Foreign Ministry says that the expert group will explore advancing boundary delimitation negotiations in areas where conditions are ripe without specifying which ones. Shivarur has the finer details. Listen in.
The just concluded visit of Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi to India, where he met senior officials including National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and others, is said to be extremely successful. But the big takeaway right ahead of Prime Minister Modi's visit to China for the SCO summit, where he will be meeting with President Xi Jinping, is a statement from the Chinese Foreign Ministry where it has been mentioned that a new understanding has been arrived at on the border issue. Now, since the big military standoff began between India and China in May, June 2020, 5 years ago, relations have been rather turbulent. The two countries and the two militaries have attempted small tactical disengagements along the large standoff area in eastern Ladakh, but no de-escalation has actually taken place. Now, as NDTV broke first, de-escalation finally appears to be on the horizon, with the two countries creating an atmosphere for the first time where things might actually be looking up as far as the border issue is concerned. Now, there is reason to be cautiously optimistic because this is, after all, China, a country with which India has had one big war and one current extended standoff that has been on for 5 years. But the wording and the language of the statements that have come out, first from India and then from China, suggests that after 5 years of uncertainty and 5 years of a military atmosphere in eastern Ladakh, the two countries appear to be at least intending towards a new sort of dawn as far as the border question is concerned. This will include engagements. This will include a new mechanism. This will include identifying areas where frictions currently still exist and sorting them out with a spirit of actually solving some of these issues rather than aggravating them. Border management is going to be complicated. It's not going to change overnight, but the stage may be set, the decks may be cleared for a higher level engagement or possibly even a higher level takeaway when Prime Minister Modi is in China for the SCO summit.
Let's now turn our attention to our neighborhood. India has dismissed Nepal's objection to a decision by New Delhi and Beijing to resume border trade through Lipulekh Pass and said Kathmandu's claims on this territory are neither justified nor based on historical facts. Nepal, which triggered a border row in 2020 by issuing a political map that showed Kalapani, Limpiadhura and Lipulekh, all controlled by India as part of Nepalese territory, objected to the move by India and China on Wednesday. A statement from the Foreign Ministry in Kathmandu contended Nepal's official map incorporates Lipulekh as an integral part of the country. But our External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal dismissed this assertion and added, any unilateral artificial enlargement of territorial claims is untenable. Moving on, India has dismissed allegations by Bangladesh that Awami League-linked offices in Kolkata and New Delhi were involved in anti-Bangladesh activities. The Ministry of External Affairs called Dhaka's charge misplaced, stressing that no such activity is permitted from Indian soil. India has rejected Dhaka's accusations, saying it had no knowledge of such activities and would not allow them under any circumstances. Saurabh Gupta has been tracking all the details for you. Listen into his report.
After Bangladesh put out that statement that accused India of allowing anti-Bangladesh activities, mainly by allowing the Awami League, which is banned in Bangladesh, to operate from India, Bangladesh also alleged that the Awami League had set up offices in New Delhi and Kolkata, and that this was an affront to the people of Bangladesh, and that this could trigger anti-India sentiment, and also, this could lead to a further worsening of ties, and saying that, all of these things are something that India should look into and avoid. This statement that came from the Foreign Ministry of Bangladesh has now led to a very sharp, terse, and to-the-point response from India. One, that India does not allow its territory for activities against any country. Two, the statement from Bangladesh is misplaced. And three, and most importantly, Bangladesh should hold elections as soon as possible, and they should be free, fair and inclusive. That is the point that India has been making, while there have been anti-India statements, open anti-India statements, including one from the chief advisor of the interim government, particularly targeting India's northeast. India has been circumspect, India has responded, but India has been circumspect, and India has been respectful of the close ties that India and Bangladesh had shared. But now, of course, that relationship has been strained, and India has responded with a very firm statement on what Bangladesh's foreign ministry said earlier in the day.
Moving on to other crucial news we're tracking. Russia expects to continue supplying oil to India despite warnings from the United States. This is what Russian embassy officials in New Delhi have said, further adding that Moscow hopes trilateral talks will soon take place with India and China. Russian First Deputy Prime Minister Denis Manturov had said separately that Russia saw scope for supplies of liquefied natural gas to India. In fact, we continue to ship fuel, include crude oil and oil products, is what he had said. Thermal and cooking coal is included, but we see potential for the export of Russian LNG. These are the words of Manturov. He was quoted as saying this by Interfax news agency. He also said, according to RAA news agency, that Russia was counting on expanding nuclear energy cooperation with India. Meanwhile, Dr. Jaishankar will hold bilateral talks with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov in Moscow. This as Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi is in Pakistan for the 5th round of Pakistan-China strategic dialogue. Now, amid the United States imposing a 50% tariff on India, Dr. Jaishankar has pushed to increase trade with Russia, encouraging Russian companies to engage more intensively with their Indian counterparts. Noting India's rapidly growing economy and initiatives like Make in India that have opened up new windows for foreign businesses, Dr. Jaishankar also said that these dimensions represent an invitation for Russian companies to engage more. Mohammad Ghazali has been tracking the finer details and all the developments for us. He joins us live at the moment. Ghazali, take us through the External Affairs Minister's plan of action and also the meeting's agenda today.
See, the External Affairs Minister will be meeting his counterpart, Mr. Lavrov, today. Yesterday, he already had a meeting with the Deputy Prime Minister of Russia over different aspects of business and trade sort of collaboration with Russia. And why it is significant, we know that how the geopolitical alliances or the global shift is happening. India is under tremendous pressure from all sides. But the best part of India's diplomacy, if you consider the recent visit of Dr. Jaishankar to Russia, is that despite continued pressure from the United States of threats from tariff and all, India continues to maintain its relations with Russia. It's resetting its ties with China, and it's also pushing back against US tariff threats. So what we're going to see is that since Russia has also offered Indian companies and Indian exporters to come and invest in Russia, the same has been reciprocated by Dr. Jaishankar in his visit to Moscow today and yesterday. So we are going to see a lot of MOUs being signed between the two countries. This is also a kind of groundwork by Dr. Jaishankar to ensure that, that later this year, in a couple of months from now, Mr. Putin is also going to visit India for the India-Russia annual summit as well.
Ghazali, as always, thanks so much for joining us with the lowdown. Slipping into a quick break, back in a moment with the latest updates for you. Do stay tuned.
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India. It matters to India. And it matters to me. And it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru. Only on NDTV 24/7.
You know, first, when Sayyara released and we as audience realized, oh my God, what is happening? You know, when did you realize it? Like, it's like, I didn't expect this, what is happening? Like that wave that hits you.
You know, the first thing that really hit me, I'm telling you, was a month back actually, to be honest, is when Adi sir saw the film. And he saw a very loose cut and he decided the release date. But he was always... like me and Akshay were so into making the film, I think, along with Sumanna and all. Sometimes when you're so into it and you don't realize, you don't see it from, and then he saw it from a third person perspective. I mean, he was always super confident about the film. And he had actually had this talk with me about how I've done. And yeah, we all grew up. I was in the 8th grade when I saw Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge and said I want to make a love story like this. For a person like him to say that, you've made a great film. All he had asked for me was to make your best film for me. And I did, and I'm just glad that, so that was the first thing, and that validation was great. I wasn't shouting over the roof for it. It gives you a lot of confidence at that moment,
Absolutely.
for the person who's actually put his money where it is, and he wasn't talking about anything else but on a very unassembled film at that time, could feel the emotion and be listening. But it was the first time we felt that we made something special. But yes, once the numbers came in, I think then it was Akshay.
The advance.
Yeah, and the advances came in, and then people were sending me messages, and all they said, no, don't listen to anyone. So I at one point just put my phone off and said, this is getting too out of hand. And then in the night we got the number.
Vanakkam Tamil Nadu.
Now the battle for Tamil Nadu 2026 is open now.
After Chief Minister Stalin rolls up his sleeves and Vijay steps in as a star challenger.
This is a mass gathering, not for cash.
Meanwhile, a former Chief Minister, Edapadi Palanisamy, begins his fight back.
The big comeback campaign by EPS has well and truly begun.
These are all the ultimate players, and this is going to be the ultimate test.
Rajasthan is history, culture, and much more. And I have been reporting on all things royal for more than 25 years.
The colors, the culture, and the complexities of the Northeast is different from the rest of the country. I have been bringing the Northeast closer to the capital for over 15 years.
Madhya Pradesh is the heart of India, and I have been capturing its every beat for over 10 years, covering the corridors of power.
What is said, what is left unsaid, and what it actually means for you and me. I have it all covered.
Kashmir is often called paradise on earth, a region that has been in a state of flux. From conflict to India's crowning glory, I have been reporting and decoding Jammu and Kashmir for last 3 decades.
And that's why it's being said that after Kahuna Pyare, this is the film that has got 2 superstar debutants who are becoming superstars. But what was this faith that you had on these two that that shows on screen?
You don't plan to make a blockbuster. You plan to make a good film. And that's
Israel will call up around 60,000 reserve soldiers before a planned offensive to take Gaza City. But forces that would operate in the Gaza Strip's largest urban center would be active duty soldiers. This is what the IDF has indicated. The call-up notices could be sent in the coming days, with reservists to report for duty in September. And it comes as Israel is studying Hamas's response to a proposal for a 60-day ceasefire. But currently, they are planning to take Gaza City. They claim that they already have a hold as far as the outskirts is concerned. Separately, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has admitted to a UK-based podcast in an interview that Israel has work to do in winning over young people in the West, as polls show collapsing support. Listen in to what the IDF is saying, though.
כחלק מההיערכות לשלב הבא, הנחה הרמטכ"ל להוציא 60,000 צווי מילואים לתחילת ספטמבר. בנוסף לצווים אלו, נעריך עוד כ-20,000 צווים למשרתי המילואים בגדודים שמשרתים כבר היום.
Let's turn our attention to the other crucial story we're tracking. A disturbing wave of racist hate crimes against Indians has rocked Ireland, with several brutal, unprovoked attacks reported in recent months. Victims include a 6-year-old girl assaulted outside her home, professionals targeted by teenage gangs. The Indian Embassy has issued an advisory, a safety advisory, amid growing fear in the 90,000-strong Indian community. Many are blaming rising anti-immigrant sentiment fueled by Ireland's housing crisis. Protests and petitions have followed, demanding justice, accountability, as well as an end to racism. But for further clarity and for what's happening on Ground Zero, let's go across to Paul Murphy, who joins us from Dublin. Paul is a reporter with RTE. Thanks so much, Paul, for making time for us. What's behind this sudden spike in these attacks? Is there a larger pattern or trigger that authorities are looking into?
Well, there's been a broader increase in these hate crimes targeting immigrants. Up until sort of early July, a lot of the ones that would have come to attention, and most of them come to attention via social media, they would have involved attacks on asylum seekers, and also sometimes, attacks on immigrants who aren't asylum seekers. But then from July, we had a spate of these attacks. Now, An Garda Síochána, which is the Irish police force, they say that there hasn't been a significant jump in attacks focused on Indians who are resident here. But what is absolutely true is that there have been some quite high-profile attacks in terms of just abuse and also in terms of physical assault, including one very nasty one, which happened last month in Dublin, where a man was slashed and he was attacked and he was rounded on and he was racially abused. And there have been other incidents. Now, some of the incidents don't have an explicitly racial motive, but they have targeted Indians who are living here. So it's unclear in those cases whether they are, a regular run-of-the-mill assault, if you like, that could happen to anybody, or if they are explicitly racist. But certainly some of the attacks have been racist, and that's, it's very worrying for the government. It's very worrying for law and order, and also principally it's very worrying for Indians who live here, which make up a sizable section of the immigrant community in Ireland. The census in 2022 showed that Indians were the third largest group of non-Irish living in Ireland. So there are quite a few estimates would suggest maybe around the 80,000-90,000 level at the moment of Indians who are either living and working here or studying here.
Paul, is there any political factor behind these attacks that have taken place in the recent months?
Just on the aspect of whether, the part of the reasoning behind the attacks is that immigrants are coming to take our jobs. I mean, that if that logic exists, and I don't believe that it does exist to any serious extent here, that argument, it's an argument that makes no sense. I mean, Ireland at the moment is close to full employment. That's one thing. Another thing is, as the Minister for Justice, Jim O'Callaghan, recently pointed out, most of the attacks are done by teenagers. So these are kids who are not working. Typically, they're in school or they should be in school. And so they're not about to enter the jobs market. Also, the typical Indian working in Ireland is typically very, very well educated. The median income is higher than it is for Irish people and for other immigrant groups. So it's not as if the people who are attacking Indians would in any way be competing against them, because most of the Indians, for example, will either work in the sciences, healthcare is a very big one, and information technology. So these are not A, there's full employment anyway, B, the people who are doing the attacking aren't of working age, and C, it's highly unlikely that they would have the educational qualifications that the Indian immigrant working in these sectors would have. So that direct competition doesn't really come into it. I think where there is an issue is this politicization. We don't have a far-right group in Ireland at the moment of any political significance. In the recent elections, which were council elections, we don't have any far-right somebody espousing anti-immigrant views in our parliament. So there have been other our laws on assault. Also, if there's a racial element to it, the sentencing and the imprisonment potential penalties have been increased substantially.
Paul, thanks so much for joining us. We'll of course revert to you for regular updates and stay in touch. Meanwhile, India has said it has successfully test-fired an intermediate-range ballistic missile that, when operational, should be capable of carrying a nuclear warhead to any part of China. The Agni 5 missile was successfully launched in Odisha, and authorities say it validated all operational and tech parameters. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's internet satellite business Starlink will roll out Aadhaar-based verification to onboard customers when it launches in India. The Ministry of Electronics and IT has confirmed. The company, as you know, has already secured approvals from India's space regulator to begin commercial operations and is expected to launch towards the end of 2025 or the start of 2026. US Vice President J.D. Vance and other Trump administration officials have suggested that the federal takeover of policing in DC could serve as a test case for other cities across the country as they try to amplify the issue. J.D. Vance, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Deputy White House Chief of Staff Stephen Miller visited Union Station to greet troops and tout the presence of federal law enforcement there, as the Trump administration continues to portray DC as one of the most violent cities on planet Earth, a depiction at odds with crime data. And Paris Hilton and her pups are going on a brand new adventure. A new animated kids series is inspired by the TV personality, the DJ, the advocate, and of course puppy lover, Paris Hilton. We're told it's going to be dropping on the 23rd of September.
I can help you, Star.
Thank you so much for investing your time in watching this edition of The World 24/7. As always, we'll keep tracking the latest for you. Do stay tuned.
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola?
Should I hold CDSL for the long term?
Buy, sell or hold.
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live, ask, decide and invest wisely.
Your portfolio, your future. Ask Profit.
India's defense game is no longer evolving, it's transforming. The NDTV Defense Summit 2025 brings together the sharpest minds. One day, big conversations, bold ideas. The mission is clear. Stay ready. Stay ahead. Leading from the front, the Honorable Defense Minister, Rajnath Singh. The NDTV Defense Summit 2025, Warfare in the 21st Century.
हेलो बोलिए मैडम, डब्बा ट्रेडिंग कब से चल रहा है पता है मैडम आपको? हम और आप तो जन्म भी नहीं हुआ था हमारा.
We investigated a shady advisory firm that has spent big bucks on advertising on the front pages of national dailies.
ये आपको बिल्कुल उसका ऐसे हल्का सा भी खौफ नहीं है.
मैडम एक बार को खौफ किस लिए रखना चाहिए तो बताओ, कौन सा गलत काम कर रहा हूँ मैं?
After our report, we also saw NSE came out with a cautionary circular to the investors. Market Regulator Securities and Exchange Board of India has also come out with a release talking about the actions that it has taken. Cyber complaint has also been filed against the entities involved in this entire Dabba trading scam.
Pulling us into this country.
They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning. No filler, no fog. Only the facts and where they lead. Every night at 9, the case closes because the buck stops here.
Mohit, you are known for your music. All your films, musics stay with us till today. I'm a millennial and those music are kind of music. So whenever we say Mohit Suri film aa raha hai, we know the music will be good, right? It's a given. So you really work hard. But is this always like how you create your music? You need everything in place, the mood, the lighting, even when the person is in the studio and just singing. And also, how did you select your musicians that this person's voice is perfect for this song?
That's what I think, the amount you give to a song, that's how long it will last, I think. Everyone does the programming, everyone writes the words, everyone makes the thing. But the thing is how much you give, how much of heart you give to the lyrics or to the music or to the melody or to the singing. that's how long the song will last, is what I genuinely feel. If you don't give that love, you're not going to get it back. It's just a simple debit and credit procedure, I think, with the audience. I genuinely feel I don't have any special skill. I don't know any scale or anything else. It's just that I enjoy that process a lot. Give me an evening to just go for a film party or something, I'll skip it. But you give me like a struggling musician to go who has a great tune, some new guys, chill all night with them. I can do that. I can just sit there, make music and stuff like that. We just did that recently. Fahim came down. He just surprised us, and we met in my Bandra office, and Han was there, Aneet was there, and he made me hear his other songs and stuff like that. But it was it's so much fun, because I just think making music.
A very good morning. You're watching NDTV 24/7. This is The Breakfast Show. I'm Divya Vada. We have a whole lot lined up for you, including actor turned politician Vijay, who's going to be holding that rally today. This is going to be a state press conference that's going to be taking place just ahead of the elections in Tamil Nadu. And of course, we'll be getting you details of that today. Also, the India Bloc vice presidential candidate. We're talking about Mr. Reddy, who's also going to be filing his nomination papers on the last day. Today is the deadline to file the nomination papers for the face-off that's going to be taking off between Radhakrishnan and Sudarshan Reddy on the 9th of September. That and a whole lot more. First, the headlines. It's TVK gearing up for its state conference today, and the party is making a pointed political statement by invoking the legacies of the DMK founder and the AIA-DMK founder as well. And the man behind the attack on the Chief Minister of Delhi, Rekha Gupta, is a serial offender who has many cases against him. Well, the man has been taken into custody for the next 5 days. And Rekha Gupta, the Chief Minister, says this is not going to lessen her resolve. And it is the India Bloc VP candidate, Mr. Sudarshan Reddy, who